Keep it going for Adam, guys. Give it up for him. He can hear you, so it's awkward if you don't. Before I start my set, I want you guys to know that I also know what I look like. Which is adorable. How you doing? What's up? And also, there's not a big reveal coming. We're not in some like 80s comedy where my uncle died and I'm doing this for like a month to get like an inheritance or something. I'm just transgender, guys. That's all there is to it. It's how my brain works, and I have the legs for it. So, yeah, thank you. And I'm glad you guys reacted that way, because it's so much easier when you guys are just cool with it. Because then I can do, I don't know, comedy material. That sounds like fun, right? And not trying to explain to you guys what it means to be transgender. Because guess what? You won't get it, because nobody ever does. I think the reason why trans stuff is becoming such like a big deal now is like after a couple decades, finally, gay people and straight people have something they can look at each other and go, yeah, I got nothing either. I don't know. Yeah, those weirdos, right? They should get some parades or something, right? Because we do have our own parades. Anyway, it's usually more like a gathering and then people try to bomb us. Whatever, anyway, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It happened this year. I got beat up on the way to gay pride. Anyway, so I think that the thing that people like think of me, the way I'll get on from other stuff from here, but I think the way to think of me is not as a man in women's clothing, because I'm not. You got to think of me as a woman who is dealing with the world's worst body issues. Like, we go shopping, ladies, we go shopping together. I'm a good friend. You put on some pants, like, hey, these pants make my ass look fat. I'll be a good friend. I'm like, no, you're beautiful. Those pants are great. You should get them. Hey, do these pants make my dick exist? And the answer is always yes. They can't make pants anymore. Show the dick. I do have a dick, and I've used it. It's functional. And I remember when I was a kid and I first started learning how to use it, the term when you finish that function is jizz, right? And when I was a kid, I didn't know what that word meant. Like, I had done it, but I didn't know what we were calling it as a group, like collectively. And I'm showing my age a bit. The first time I heard the word jizz, I was like 13 or 14, and Adam Sandler had just put out his first comedy album. And on the album, one of the characters in one of the bits used the word jizz, and I thought it meant piss. Because it made sense in my head, like jizz, whiz, piss. I get rhyme schemes. I understand smart comedy. So, cut to me on a school bus on the way to a class trip. Well, okay, so the character in the bit said like, oh my god, this popcorn tastes like somebody jizzed all over it. And I thought, oh my god, what a hilarious prank. Somebody peed in the popcorn. Not realizing it was a much more hilarious prank. Required a lot more setup. It's prop comedy at that point. And so cut to me on the school bus on the way to a class trip when I say to my friend, hey man, I hope we get there soon, because I have really got to take a jizz. Yeah, then that happened. Yeah, what you guys just did there, that happened then. Laughter from the back of the bus where I was sitting all the way to the front of the bus, and then back to me again before I realized this word does not mean what I think it means. But the problem is, in that time, I did not figure out what the word jizz meant. So what happened was, I'm like, I'm going to own this. I'm going to be on top of it. It's going to be fun. I'll be like, Silverman's got jokes. Ha, jizz, ha. But somebody yelled, hey, Silverman, did you jizz yet? And I responded, not yet, but I'm working on it. So I was single for prom. Which is cool, I couldn't wear a dress anyway because I wasn't out yet, so who cares? It wasn't like my prom. I mentioned the pride thing. I got jumped on Gay Pride Weekend in Los Angeles, of all times to get jumped. I was going down the subway in North Hollywood to take a train to Pride, right? And I heard this guy behind me on the subway just yell, why the fuck are you wearing a skirt? And I assumed he didn't want the truthful answer to that question. Like, I didn't think I should turn around and be like, well, I think it's a nice day out, and I think the houndstooth pattern goes with my makeup. Just wanted to look nice. I don't think he'd like, oh, fair play. Well, maybe try some better boots next time. Have a nice day. But, which, fuck him, my boots were great that day. But what instead he did, what I did was I thought, let's ignore this. Let's just move on. Let's just go on with our lives, and let's get into a crowd full of people. And then the mistake that I made was thinking he was done. And what he decided to do was let me know immediately that he was not. And what he did was he came up behind me, and he grabbed me by the shoulder, got in my face, and he told me, only women wear skirts. As if I was supposed to go, what? My friends are assholes. Thank you, sir. And the thing is, so I get shitty things yelled at me all the time because human beings suck as a species. And like one time I was walking down to the mall, I was going to the Grove on Fairfax, and this guy decided, a lot of people love to yell stuff from cars because it's so, brave. And so I was walking, right, and this guy, I'm walking by, and this guy steps out, and he like yells, "What the fuck?" at me as I'm walking, which I guess I was supposed to let him know what the fuck was, but I didn't know how to answer that question. Not unlike the subway situation, I didn't think I was going to have whatever it was he wanted to hear, right? So I keep walking, and then I'm like, all right, I'm just going to go, and then he decides to get out of the car, and he's not driving, he's a passenger. So he gets out of the car, and he starts coming towards me, and again, he continues to yell, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, I don't know the answer to this question. What are you doing? And the problem is, too, I'm going to let you guys know, fight or flight as responses to fear, neither one works when you're wearing heels, all right? Like, the only chance I had, the heels I had on were pretty awesome. It was summertime, so they have these like straps go up my leg, and I'm like, I'm going to get these off. I'm going to nunchuck this guy if he gets here, right? That didn't have to happen. He got back in the car, light changed, they went away, and then I'm like, oh, what would I have done if he had actually gotten to me? Probably gotten the shit kicked out of me. It's probably what would have happened. And then he would have told the story about, I beat up a trans person, I'm tough. So that didn't happen. He left, whatever. So I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, well, what would have happened if that guy got to me? And then I found out in a subway station, North Hollywood, on Gay Pride weekend, that what happens is I hit back. And then I just don't stop hitting. Because that is what happened in North Hollywood on Pride weekend, is that eventually the guy who jumped me is running away from me in fear, which is the best feeling in the world, where the guy yelling slurs at you is then doing like the warning punch, like trying to back away. Well, I'm just trying to get my purse that I dropped, and he's doing all this. And the best part, like, he had tried to run away, and I had, like, grabbed him, and his shirt ripped off. So he had this really awful toga made out of a wife beater, because of course he wears a wife beater. And I'm, like, backing away, and the only thing that I wish that when that had happened, because, like, what happened was that like, we started, like, I hit him back, he hit me, we were fighting for a while, then we kind of got apart from each other, I was kind of getting towards him, trying to get my shit, he's still freaking out, and then, like, this Asian kid who looked like he was like Boy George's like illegitimate Asian son, because he had like a culture club hat and like a long black jacket, and he tumbled for me. He came down the escalator, and at that point I'm yelling, "Get the fuck away from me!" And like this kid is like, "Hey, yeah, get away from him." Meanwhile, a whole subway station full of people have not done anything the entire time. They're all like, let's see how this plays out. Let's just see what happens here. Getting their phones out, whatever. So that's what happens, right? And all that I wish that had happened was, I wish that when that guy was backing away from me in fear, I wish that I'd had the presence of mind to look him in the eye and just go, "Are you as turned on right now as I am?" Thank you guys very much. I'm myself.